All right, welcome to our regular meeting of council, number 8 on July 28th. We're going to call to order the meeting. There's an agenda before each councillor. Can we have an adoption of agenda, please? Okay, Councillor Tilley, seconded by Councillor King. Thank you. So, motion adopted and agendas approved. We want to note that our Deputy Mayor Woodford is not with us this evening due to unforeseen circumstances. So we'll have a little bit of change-ups of our committees. Adoption of minutes. Council was sent the minutes from the last meeting of council. So is there any errors or omissions? No? Minutes adopted as tabled. And any business arising from those minutes? Nothing. Okay, on to our mayor's update. Short and sweet today. I let off a little steam, as the Shoreline called it last time, and it was great. So I'm going to scale it back and just mention a couple of things that were happening in and around that may or may not be touched on with the individual committees. Is one that our festival grounds is pretty much almost complete now. There's a few little touch-up and tidbits that are going to still happen. But of course, we put off our Squid Fest. We're back on the grounds, and everyone was pretty excited, and it was a lovely atmosphere. The ending, the vendor day, their fun day, is the biggest crowd I've ever seen come to the Sunday fun day. And it was great. A lot of good compliments on the bathrooms. The bathrooms are new, renovated, clean, fantastic. Everyone's super excited. And we also had a few comments about the lack of smell happening in the festival grounds this year, which is very exciting because we're moving on our sewer project. Also, it's Good Fest. We went to the opening. It got delayed a little bit because of the rain, but we had the opening on the Thursday. And same thing. New, clean bathrooms, and we did get lots of comments and statements saying how nice it was, and even the workers were really excited to have cleaner bathrooms because, you know, they're just easier to clean and it's nicer to be part of. Right? So don't forget to be kind to all our student employees out there. They're working really hard, and we thank our Director of Recreation and CAO for spearlining those improvements. Public Works may have had a part in it too. I know they did. All right, ATVs on the road. We noticed that there is a little bit of an uptick, but please keep reporting as much as possible to the RCMP. But we do notice that there's an uptick of the last couple of days. The people are driving on the main road, that kind of thing. And of course, the main road now being paved lets a little bit of a speedway open up, unfortunately. The potholes slow people down. Natural speed bumps. So be careful and watch it. We're really happy to get that new pavement through our town. You see the, the wood cuttings on the side, and I know some people have commented on it, but that's necessary to clear the way, to do the ditching, to create new ditches with the culverts, and of course then it'll be repaved. So all necessary burdens, unfortunately. And finally, our infrastructure and public works will mention the the water conservation, so that will come up in a little while. But in regards to the fires, just remember, keep looking at the index. The provincial index is really important to monitor and keep an eye, because individual towns may have bans, but we're going by the provincial fire index, which is a beautiful website. So that's it for the mayor's update for today. Oh, sorry, I do have one other note. It went over to my other page. The garbage. Some people have mentioned about the garbages and not having enough garbages, but we've got to make sure that they're being used intentionally. We're having some issues down on the waterfront with people gutting and cleaning their fish, and I understand because we do it as well, and it's very difficult to find a spot to do it. You can't clean and gut at the marina, and so it's hard, but I mean, take your cooler, pack it up, put it on ice, put it in the cold water, and take it home and gut and dispose of it properly, please, because the public works should not be dumping out this refuge. Okay, so that's it for my mayor's update. Number 5 is correspondence, and of course correspondence now is assigned to the appropriate department, and that will be through communications. So first up on our committee list is Planning and Development, and I think Councillor King, is that correct?
Unfortunately, yes. Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Planning and Development Committee met on July 22nd via Zoom, and Councillor Windsor was in attendance, our CEO, Robert Stacey, the Mayor, and myself. Regrets from Krista Turnbull. Before I get into some of the details of the planning and development, I just want to touch on some of the comments with regards to water and how it relates to development, okay? And there's been a lot of conversations over the past couple of weeks with regards to the water ban and why and all these different things, and anyway, so I just need to clarify some of it from a development standpoint, and I'm sure once it gets to infrastructure and public works and also public safety, I'm sure there will be other comments as well related to these different things. We've already spoken about the fact that with regards to planning and development, that development will move forward behind infrastructure. In water, we won't be building houses and we won't be doing stuff unless infrastructure is in place to be able to accommodate it. We've talked about this before, and we will continue to talk about it, but not only will we talk about it, we will also enforce it. We all know here that the water lines that are in the ground here in Holyrood in some places are probably in 50 to 60 years of age, right? So, and I know people were talking about, well, how about councils of the past never reacted to it? Well, probably one of the main reasons it didn't react to it, because at the time, the stuff that was in the ground wasn't past its life expectancy. So basically it was, fix the leaks and move forward. The problem is now, once we start getting into this term and into the next term, that stuff, if it was put in the ground in 1960, for example, by the start of the next term, that will have been in the ground 70 years, which is probably at the, so yes, these things have to be addressed. There's no doubt about it, but it has to be addressed in a structural manner, because, and I'm sure Councillor Windsor as an engineer is very well, this is a very, to take up a water line and replace it with a new water line, it's a very complex process, right? Because you're going to have to shut off water to certain areas, and we realize that, and it will be done in a staged process. We've already talked about drilling new wells. Okay? We've already talked about a new tank that will double the capacity of the tank that's there now. So we understand, and this particular council and the council that was there before us, which most of us are that council, are aware of that, and we are moving forward trying to resolve it. It's not going to happen. All these problems never happened overnight, and they're not going to be fixed overnight. But residents need to understand it. We understand it. We acknowledge the fact, and we're working on trying to fix it. Okay, but the other thing to go along with that is conservation. Right? People need to understand that water is, if you just, all you have to do is turn on the news, look at Europe today, look at Spain, look at France, have it's burned to the ground, look at Northern Ontario, look at the United States. The climate is changing. Okay? Whether people believe it or not or want, doesn't matter, it's changing, and it's changing for the worse. And water is going to be a very important part of maintaining it. Okay? Years ago, people didn't like recycling, right? And it was a hard thing to understand. Now, recycling is as common now as it is as anything. The same way with composting. We're going to have to look at water the same way we look at these things, because we can't survive without water, okay? You know, the more water you haul out of the ground, the lower down the water table goes. So yeah, you might have a well that's down 200 feet, but if the water table goes down below it, your well is not going to be much good to you. So we need to understand that. We need to look ahead and we need to start thinking about houses that we're going to build in the future, starting now, and making them more water efficient with faucets and toilets and all the other different things that goes with it. There's places in Europe today where the vast majority of their water that comes for their gardens comes from the roof of their house. It goes down into a trough, it goes down into a water barrel, and that's what they use for watering their flowers and their gardens and stuff like that. And it saves, you know, hundreds of thousands of liters of water to be used for something else. You know, and the other thing is, people kept saying, well, it's Holyrood, it's Holyrood. It's not Holyrood. You just look at it. I'll just give you a few examples of communities right now that have either a water ban or a water conservation. Okay, Torbay, for example. Torbay is an excellent, because last year, Torbay was pumping 1.5 million liters of water from the river into their reservoir just to keep the water level above the intake pipe. Okay, and they're pumping it into a reservoir. Okay, Bay Roberts, Bonavista, Fortune, Placentia, Pooch Cove, Mount Pearl, CBS, Paradise, Portugal Cove, St. Phillips, all of these places either have a water ban on or water conservation. So we're not the only people that has a problem when it comes to water. And we're working on it. I'm not going to get into water consumption because I know Councillor Windsor is going to bring this up in the infrastructure and public works. But new homes, okay? New homes are going to have to, you know, a lot of the new homes that we're passing here are on their own water and sewer. Okay, so they're not on the town system. There's also places around where subdivisions, for example, are on their own mini set of water where they have their water and sewer and they have a water tank. So that's something that people can look at into the future when it comes to development, is a standalone system. Right? So that's something else that, you know, and you know, people ignoring the water ban, you're hurting your neighbor. Okay, we talked about this at the last public meeting with regards to why we had to get rid of the recycling bins down by Hydro Road.
Everywhere, actually,
And,
the three spots.
and the brush. It wasn't done by the people in this room. It was done by your neighbors. So how would Councillor Windsor feel, who was on water, on town water, looking and observing the conservation of the water, looking across the street at me over pressure washing my driveway, you know, washing my car, turning my hose on and leaving it on the lawn, and going to bed, and the next morning get up and turn it off? What kind of a neighbor does that, right? So people need to take responsibility for some. Yes, you know, water is valuable, and we can do a lot better today than what we're doing. And you know, people say, well, I'm a taxpayer. Yes, you are, and so am I. I'm on water. I'm on town water and sewer. I'm not out there watering my lawn, right? I'm watering flowers and my vegetables, my potato towers, but it's from a water barrel at the end of the house. Okay. And the other one there, you know, I was looking through some stuff the other day for here, and there was one of these little biblical things in there about how Christ turned water into wine.
Where are we going?
Right? So I'm not going to get people to start praying or anything like that. But the story was, it was according to the Gospel of John, Jesus and his mother Mary were invited to a wedding. and they ran out of wine. And Mary looked at Jesus and said, "Is there anything that you can do about that?" And Jesus asked the servants to bring him 6 stone jars of water. And he turned the water into wine. We do not have the ability right now to turn wine back into water. And I don't think most of us here would probably want that anyway. We would be happier with the wine. So anyway, I just wanted to say that it's a problem. We're looking at it. We're trying to fix it. And we can take it from there.
Yeah, and we can't
so
perform miracles. I get
we
what you're saying.
cannot, even though I know
The
the
moral
mayor
of the
probably...
story is. The moral of the story is.
The moral of the story is,
Yeah.
we cannot perform miracles, but we're working in that direction. Okay? Unless Councillor Windsor has anything to say, I'm going to move on to the
Very good, sir.
resolutions. on that.
You said.
Anyway, the first one is with regards to permits, and it's be it resolved to table the above attached permit list. 9 permits were issued from June 26th to July 16th, 2026. Permits 07-0059 to -26 to 07-0067-26, and it includes permits for garages, general repairs, occupation, and residential. So moved.
Okay, moved by Councillor King, seconded by, okay, Councillor Windsor, and this occupancy rate. And anything to discuss? No? All right, all those in favor? Aye, motion carried.
The next one is located at 6 Whitecap Place. It's residential, RMD. Be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Story. Any questions, concerns, discussion? No? Okay, straightforward build. All those in favor? Aye, motion carried.
The next one is located at 294 Conception Bay Highway. It's proposed commercial building extension, chapel. It's zoned RMD. Be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Crawley. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
And the next one is located at 10 Marina Drive. It is residential. It's zoned RMD. Be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Tilley. Okay. Any further discussion? It's just a regular residential build as well. Okay, all those in favor? Aye, so moved.
The next one is 12 Eagle Drive. It's residential. Zoning is RMD. Be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
So moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Story. Any discussion? Another straightforward build. We have a few of those on our roster. Okay, full compliance. Excellent. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
And the last one. It's located at 2 Seabreeze Drive. Proposed existing daycare, zoned RMD. Be it resolved that the Town of Holyrood approve the above application in principle, subject to the town's municipal plan and development regulations. So moved.
Moved by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Crawley. Any further discussion? That is currently a daycare and keeping the title daycare just changing owners, correct?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure that no one's wondering if there's a new daycare coming in? No, there's not a
No.
new daycare.
No,
It's the
it's-
existing.
yeah.
Yep. Okay, any other discussion? Not all those in favor? Motion carried.
And that's it, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Councillor King. Fantastic. Lots of new bills and the reason behind it doesn't trouble our water system. Excellent. Okay, recreation and community events. I have Miss Councillor Crawley. Up.
Good evening, everyone. The Recreation and Community Service Committee did not meet this month as the committee has transitioned to a bi-monthly meeting schedule for the summer. Squids Fest 37 held July 15th to the 19th with another huge success. On behalf of the Recreation Committee and the Town Council, thank you to our sponsors, volunteers, community partners, performers, vendors, staff, and everyone who attended and supported the festival. It was fantastic to see so many residents and visitors enjoying the events throughout the week. This year's festival also marked the first major events utilizing the recent upgrade at the festival grounds, including the new stage, building, and newly renovated public bathrooms. Like the mayor already noted, these improvements were well received and have further enhanced the community's availability to host large-scale events. Staffs are currently working to secure a new date for both the postponed drone light show and the Squid Reel outdoor movie. Updated information will be shared with the public as soon as the dates are confirmed. Looking ahead, Squidfest Beach Party Goes Country will take place on Saturday, August 29th. Tickets are now available at squidfest.ca. Residents are also reminded that Holyrood Day will be celebrated on Wednesday, August 5th from 1 to 3 p.m. at the Holy Cross Park. The afternoon will feature face painting, bouncy castles, swimming, and cake cutting. Everyone is welcome to attend. The summer programming continues to be busy, with both Camp Ahoy and CBS Soccer in full swing. Holy Cross Park remains open daily and will continue operating throughout till the end of August. Our date of next meeting is scheduled for August 10th at 5:30. Councillor Tilley, is there anything that you would like to add?
I guess not add as much as pass out kudos as well to the staff and volunteers that help with the Squid Fest. Like, I was there for 90% of the events, if not more. I think myself and the mayor had a lot of fun at the squid eating competition.
Did.
And I just see how good the festival ground looked. The compliments on the bathrooms, like I was to the wine and cheese tasting event and everybody was coming back. Have you been to the washrooms? Like, there, it's phenomenal. Our new stage is beautiful. The park, the swim park is beautiful. Throughout the weekend, throughout the week of events, I know that there was a couple of hiccups. And I have to give hats off to our CAO and our recreation director for handling it in a very calm and professional means. And the public didn't even realize there was a hiccup. So when you have a major event like that and you have some speed bumps and the public doesn't even realize there's speed bumps, you know you have a good crew behind you. But other than that, I just wanted to say an extra shout out and an extra thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tilley, and you are absolutely correct. Like, just pivot. Pivot is the quickest. They pivoted on a dime. I love the looks they're exchanging because they know what they went through, and no one knows what they went through. But it's fantastic, and everything went off without a hitch, like you said. It was fantastic, and can't wait to do it all again. All right, thank you, Councillor Crawley and Councillor Tilley. Infrastructure and Public Works. I'm going to get myself comfortable now. Councillor Windsor.
Mayor, and you will have a chance to do it again because there is a upcoming event, right? Like the Squid
There
Fest
is.
2.0, the sequel continues, right?
It's country.
And here, you know, congratulations to the committee and staff, the volunteers, and Mr. Kyle Hockow. I know you put a lot of work into that, and it was a resounding success. So well done.
After he was married,
That's right.
a couple of weeks after he was married, he took a
I did not realize that.
You didn't. Okay, well, Councillor Tilley is saying here that Director
That's
Kyle
dedication.
Hocko got married, congratulations, just recently before putting off Squid Fest. So, you know, there was the extra little added
Nice.
layer there.
The camera could see him now. He's blushing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor. Infrastructure and Public Works. I have 3 topics I'd like to discuss this evening. 1 is paving, 2 is communications, and 3 is water, believe it or not. It's a lengthy update, and we'll try to stick to script here because there's a lot of important factual information that needs to be communicated. And as Councillor King said earlier in planning and development, nothing really new here. These are things that we have talked about here at length over the last 2 terms, really. But you know, we will continue to communicate it officially and professionally as best we can. So on the paving first, this is a short one because I just want to acknowledge the completion of Route 60 paving project by the province. Thank you, province. This section of road had reached a terrible state of repair, and it's a significant improvement. And we can all agree on that for all commuters. You know, this town has been a major detour for all TCH traffic more than once now. And we lobbied very hard for this project over the last number of years. It takes years to get these things, you know, on the radar and get the political will and get the funding and the approval for it. And we really appreciate the province coming through on that. We have to acknowledge council and staff. Many constructive meetings were held with the Department of Transportation Infrastructure. We ourselves met with the responsible minister of the day and our area MHA. And staff continue to maintain a continuous dialogue with the Department of TI, and their efforts finally paid off. So good job and thank you. Second one, communications. I want to acknowledge the initiation of a new cell phone tower project by Bell. The update is that the construction drawings were completed, the tender for construction was awarded, and materials have been delivered. Site preparation has begun at the depot, and the actual construction will start next month. In the meantime, Bell's installed a pole at the RV park in Avondale, which should go live soon, and that'll contribute to the overall service in the area while we wait for that tower in Holyrood to be fully completed and commissioned. Again, this is the result of a lot of hard work by council and town staff, maintaining their perseverance and continuously lobbying Bell and the provincial government. The area is notorious for bad cell phone service. It affects our personal communications, our business communications, and most importantly, safety. So we all look forward to that getting improved. Absolutely. Now, on the topic of communication, I also want to remind people to use official channels to inform yourself and ask questions to town and all of council. 8 pages to go. These public meetings are broadcasted live. They are archived. The minutes are published in an abbreviated format. info@holyrood.ca is the email address you should use to ensure your questions get to the right place. There are some unofficial social media channels that do not contain all of their information. They often contain misinformation. I encourage you to go to the source and get the right information. The administrators of these channels should be more responsible when it comes to allowing posts by anonymous sources in particular, especially those that use unauthorized images and commentary that could violate Facebook policies and have potential legal consequences. I'll now speak at length on the town water system. This is something I've done publicly many times before. So, on the water system production and availability, Council's efforts to maintain and provide safe, reliable water to residents on a continuous basis, this is necessary for us. We need to complete diligent monitoring of the wells, the production rate, and production levels. Monitoring is reviewed in terms of the overall operation of the entire water supply and delivery system. Now, as Councillor King mentioned, there's a lot of factors related to that, like climate change. You've referenced a number of places in the world that are literally on fire right now. We're no different. So, you know, the climate, the rain levels, the snowpack in the winter, when we have extended periods of dry spells and little snow, there's no moisture in the ground. That affects the underground aquifers that supply our wells. And a reminder, we are on a well system. It's a system of 8 wells. It's not a surface water system. So all these things, they're beyond our control. We can't control the weather. Equipment, we can control some of that. Our water supply depends on a system of 8 wells that pump to a service and storage tank. That is located at George Cove Mountain. The system sees most demand in the daytime, which makes sense. Everyone's up, they're doing their activities, they're washing, they're cleaning, their laundry, all the things. Recovery to the tank happens overnight, and every night the pumps engage, and we recover about 4 feet in that tank overnight on a normal night. And 1 foot is equal to 8,500 gallons of water. So in a night we pick up 34,000 gallons of water. And then the pumps all shut off automatically when the tank reaches its capacity. So tank capacity is 30 feet or 255,000 gallons of water. Quickly tell you about the normal production from each of the 8 wells. So we've got a well at Liam Hickey Drive. This is the exact same update this time last year, by the way. Liam Hickey Drive, 16 gallons per minute. Swim Park's 42 gallons a minute. There's a series of 3 wells at the ball field, and collectively they put out 103 gallons a minute. So that's our best set, we'll say. O'Connell's in North Arm is 7.7 gallons a minute. Healy's in Woodford Station is 2 gallons a minute. Quinlan's in Woodford Station is 1.4 gallons a minute. And the tanks. So the current tank, as mentioned, is 255,000 gallons. Councillor King mentioned the future tank, which I'll get to that in great detail. The future tank will hold over double that, 543,000 gallons. This is not new. We've been talking about this for 3 years. On the topic of the equipment, I want to keep going with this now, the piping. There is 32 kilometers, so 32,522 meters of underground water pipe in this town. And as you had mentioned, sir, a lot of this is old and is weak, and we do get leaks. That happens. We experienced, now we're current real time now, what's been happening this summer. We experienced 10 leaks in the last 5 weeks. These leaks were at Salmon Line, Country Path, Sir Albert Wash Drive, Penny's Lane, Burns Lane, and Conception Bay Highway. Now, important to note, some of these leaks were actually residential in nature, so curb stop in, private property. So, little distinction there. Town-owned system, private property-owned system. Regardless, they're found and they're addressed. And they get replaced with Municipex, and that's an improvement in material over the old copper, right? So as we're doing this, you're improving the system. Of those 10 leaks this year, 6 of them were in the same week, July 15th to the 19th. And the areas flagged, and those areas are flagged in asset integrity plan, and we do have an asset plan. We do. We've had it for several years. And we have replaced the piping on part of that program proactively. Is Turbots Road, Penny's Lane was this year, Hazeldale, and we plan to do Bennettsbrook next year as part of our proactive piping replacement. As you can imagine, it would not be possible or feasible to replace all 32 kilometers of pipe in one season.
No.
So we do it as we can, and we budget for it, and we plan for it. And it's like, you start at painting one side of the bridge. By the time you get to the end, you got to come back and start doing it again. Councillor King touched on that, right? The age of the pipe in the ground. Put the new pipe in the ground is aging, right? So it is a continuous process that all future councils will have to deal with every year. Power outages. I want to mention that. So I just told you about the 6 leaks that happened in 1 week. In that same week, on July 16th, we had the thunderstorms, you might remember. There was a lightning strike. Now that took out all the control sensors at the pumps. They all went offline 8 o'clock in the night. Right? So now they're not pumping up and filling up the tank overnight. Right? So during the period of the leaks, and you get the lightning strike, we lost 10 feet in the tank. That's 85,000 gallons of water. Right? At the same time, usage. Let's talk about usage. So we are in a dry season, it's summer, people are wanting to get their stuff washed and their gardens going and their pools filled up, all that sort of things happening at the same time, right? But some people misuse that, and continuous watering of lawns and filling of pools. And we did have examples of individuals topping up pools, and in some cases actually filled and with a hose left overflowing the pool on a continuous basis, unattended. So continuous seasonal overuse does create more demand on the system. And, we do need to be mindful of that. And it is a precious resource. Councillor King talked about that. And we need to be mindful of it. And it's become more and more precious as we go into the future. I'll just give you some numbers. In 2025, last year, the average daily use from January to June was 195,000 gallons. Times 30 days, that's 5.8 million gallons a month on average in 2025.
Just Holyrood.
Yeah, well, that's our system here.
Yeah.
That's our system here in Holyrood. This is all metered. Our staff has all this data, and our engineering consultants have all that data I will get to the engineering consultants soon too. In 2026, the average daily usage from January to June was 222,000 gallons times 30 days is almost 6.7 million gallons a month, average monthly this year. So year over year, that's an increase of 817,000 gallons per month this year compared to last year. Okay?
And you can't attribute that to the amount the house is built.
No.
It's not possible.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not. And as a lot of the houses they built are on private service, not town service. Important to remember that. Council and staff. So I have to acknowledge that council and staff work very hard to ensure uninterrupted service delivery for water. There's decisions that got to be made for the overall good for the maximum number of residents. And restricting water use is an unfortunate action, is only used when it's absolutely necessary. We all have a part to play, even when it's inconvenient, and we might ask for your help, and we try to ensure no harm to the residents or their property. Procedures and protocols are always followed. Residents will always have water to the best of our ability for necessary, essential daily activity, apart from the inconvenience of being able to wash your vehicles, water your lawns, or top up your pools. All municipal water systems enter times of increased usage and adopt measures accordingly to ensure water delivery is maintained for essential use. I liked how Councillor King mentioned quite a number of different communities that currently have conservation bans on or orders, conservation measures. Holyrood's not unique, right? We all have the same weather systems, right? And even in normal times, so I looked into this. The St. John's Regional Water Supply System uses Babel's Big Pond. So they service St. John's, Mount Pearl, CBS, Paradise. In normal times, they have scheduled allowable times to water your lawn by odd and even civic addresses on specific days at specific times. It is not a free-for-all. It's not. Improvement actions taken by council. So let's start with the engineering guidance. I just happen to be an engineer. I'm not. I'm not a water system engineer. It's not my specialty. I didn't design the system, right?
Councillor King, Councillor Windsor, I think you're getting there now, though.
Like, we recommend to town staff to seek out the best possible professional advice available to guide us, right? We rely on those experts to guide us, and we follow those recommendations. So council engaged CBCL Engineering to advise and assist with studying our system in consideration of past and present data, including all past studies commissioned by the town. And we talked about this publicly too. There's a whole lot of studies done over the years by a bunch of different engineering firms. We engaged CBCL to really stitch all that together. They have the best possible information and history and record available to them on this town water system. They are a very reputable engineering firm. They're very experienced and knowledgeable. They have hydrogeologists on staff with master's degrees, and they have a wide spectrum of experience in this province and outside this province with a lot of different ground conditions and challenges. We trust but verify, but these are the people who are guiding us. In terms of the funding, Council has secured $3 million in funding for water improvement projects. CBCL is advising and assisting Council on the best way that we can maximize the use of those funds for the residents. So, on the wells, there are 3 new wells being investigated. One is at Tank Road, has already been determined to be a viable water source for the future. The 72-hour testing for sustainability is being completed this week. This well can be connected to the system due to its location. It is literally adjacent to the tank, which reduces our cost of all the piping and the connection details. Excellent. Now, we will require a pump house, which is similar to the well on Liam Hickey Drive. 2 other well locations have just begun being investigated, one on the San Munir line and one on Highland Park. Now, as has been stated publicly in the past, these improvements to expand and improve our existing groundwater supplied system are the recommended path forward compared to surface water options that were considered in the past on the basis of technical and commercial challenges is recommended that we stay with the groundwater system and improve what we have. The surface water route requires far more engineering and more costly infrastructure improvements. The town is in the process of investigating additional water sources for continuous supply based on growth and development in the future. We have funding from both levels of government to help us in that process. We've engaged a very professional engineering group with a well-documented reputation with water development. In the early stages of that project, the idea of surface water was considered as a possible solution for the future. But presently, we're on the well system, and these two sources cannot be mixed without creating an entirely new intervention and treatment system with full-time monitoring by trained personnel. That would become an extremely complex and costly venture for a town of 2,500 people. And, important, there would still be opportunities for piping failures in that network. Regardless of where your water is coming from, you still have 32 kilometers of buried pipe to deal with and maintain. We have a good well system that we can improve on in a cost-effective way, and that is what we are going to do, and that is what we should do. New tank. Take a little break here now. Sip of water. New tank. So, as mentioned, we've been in the process of obtaining a new tank that's capable of storing over 500,000 gallons of water. It's over double the tank that we have right now. Now, the project had to be phased due to the increased cost and expanded scope of work. Last year, we talked about hoping to have that installed this year. Didn't happen. It's very disappointing, but there's a lot of reasons for that. But I'll tell you about the work that we have done, why it's been phased, and the plans for it to be installed next year. We've completed the civil work for connection to the existing system. We've completed the geological study to create the pad for the new tank. We've completed the design for the pad and identified the costing and scope of work for the pad. This is now a shovel-ready project waiting for approval to award a tender. That work should be completed this year, 2026. The tank itself is designed and costed, but requires a separate tender and additional funding. This will be submitted in October with a final phase of work in 2027, which will see the tank erected and functional. The delays in the project due to costing and changes in scope of work due to regulation requirements and sourcing of a designer and a builder. So that's the tank. We can't wait to get that. That's going to be a game changer. It really will. You get a new tank and new wells brought online, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the reliability of the system, because this is really what, you know, some people really want to pick at. The definition of reliable is consistently good and performs as expected, with high percentage uptime and little to no downtime. Back in May, at a public council meeting, myself and Councillor King had one particular application where the person elected to have a private well rather than connect to town service. So our committees, two committees collectively, supported that permit and that recommendation, and we stated that our system is safe and reliable. Some residents decided, due to their own topography, they need or want to find an alternative private source. So that new build chose to use a private well because it was cost prohibitive for that individual to get pipes in the ground to access the town water service line. The rock on the property created an issue for him. So in that case, council evaluated the situation, agreed, yeah, that's very expensive, so we permitted the use of the private well. Our regulations state that town water is available, you pay the water tax, and they'll be charged for that water. They understand that. That was that. Okay. So I'll just move on. Council is committed to providing the best possible service to its residents. That is our commitment, and we take it seriously. Our water system is based on a well system and is closely monitored to ensure residents have safe, potable water. A reliable water source is a supply of water that provides enough clean water all year long. It depends on three parts: hydrology, which is the water available but affected by climate; infrastructure, that's our system of tanks and pumps and pipes that deliver the water, that's affected by age and malfunctions; and governance. Those are the rules and the rights to use it. In times of weakness in the system, council will make decisions to ask residents to reduce their use for non-essential activities. Council wants to ensure consistent water supply to your taps. The entire system has not been shut down. in recent years. It has not. In 2024, the system was closed for 5 hours, planned for the purpose of connecting the water main underground infrastructure, which will be used for the new tank. In 2025, we had the wildfire and dry season. We did not lose full use of the system. We did not. We managed and controlled the supply through the cooperation of residents and wise use of the resource. This year, we are seeing some deficiencies in the infrastructure, particularly piping, that has created loss of water through leaks and some higher than normal seasonal overuse. But we've carefully managed the system, and we're seeing what levels recovered at the tank and at the wells. Council has identified the problematic areas and targeted those areas to complete upgrades. That will reduce repeated leaks. For example, we completed Penny's Lane this year, and we will continue the process annually. Again, we have 32 kilometers of pipe to maintain. That information is part of the asset management plan. It's not reasonable or possible to replace all this pipe in 1 year. We plan to replace specific areas every single year. Town staff monitor the performance of the water pumps and are moving to secure extra pumps or replacements that can be available in case of declining pump performance or malfunctions to prevent long-term shutdowns. The system is a safe and reliable source of water for essential household use, acknowledging there are seasonal demands and maintenance to be managed, and positive improvement projects ongoing. Future development. I'm almost done, guys. Hang in there. And Councillor King, my colleague in Planning and Development, touched on the future development part. I'll just expand a little bit. Council consults the best possible expertise they can. That's, in this case, CBCL as part of water study work, in consideration of viability of our water system as it pertains to the approval of new residential builds. Now, something else to think about is at a time when there's affordable housing supply shortages, it would not be appropriate to declare a moratorium on no new buildings permitted in the town of Holyrood, especially when the study work completed to date by the consultants show that our town's water supply and delivery system is viable to sustain growth. That being said, we have stated publicly that major subdivision developments require engineering assessments and legal agreements and will be conditional to the water system improvements and or expansions. And Councillor King touched on this a little bit, like they may have their own standalone system separate from our system or otherwise, but it will be conditional to demonstrating that no single phase of a subdivision development would put undue pressure on the overall system for the town and all of its residents. The very last thing, and probably the most important thing really, is safety of life and emergency response. And, you know, even during all these times, the last number of years when we've had conservation orders, we've maintained the system. The system has been fully online for essential services. But not only that, for fire suppression, it's important to note that the pumpers are maintained at all times with storage tanks on their trucks fully locked and loaded with 1,000 gallons each. And the fire department has capability to draw natural water sources from rivers and ponds with backup support from mutual aid stations in neighbouring communities. Our fire department, council and staff have an action plan in case of emergency. To our residents, your understanding and cooperation to work with our constraints is very important and very much appreciated. And lastly, I would be happy to report to you that the current water status, our tank is full. It is at 30 feet. The pump shut down at 4 o'clock this morning. Well 5 is at 61 feet and well 6 is at 76 feet. And this committee would recommend lifting the conservation order at this time. That's for council to deliberate on, because again, I'm only one vote of 7 here. And Madam CEO, for the avoidance of doubt and ease of future reference, I would suggest entering that in its entirety to the public record.
Absolutely. I was thinking the
Thank
same
you.
thing. Excellent, excellent report, Councillor Windsor. Thank you. All the important pieces have been addressed for sure. Everything, and we remind a simple, be kind and offer grace, right? So do we want to weigh in a little bit on whether, I'm looking at both sides, you're saying tank is full. We're up to capacity. We have our wells producing right now. But we also have, look at all the other towns are still underwater conservation as well, looking at the future. So having all of that information in mind, anyone want to chime in on whether to lift the ban tonight or wait, give it a couple of days?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, I want to thank Councillor Windsor. That was an excellent update. You know, and it's a lot of it was, I know we talked about it last year, but it never hurts to reaffirm that, you know, to squash all these things that we're not doing anything about this stuff, because we are. And I mean, he gave a very detailed report that this council and the council before this one know that there's a problem. Okay? And we're trying to fix it. And you can't dig up 32 kilometers of water line and replace it overnight. It's impossible. Nobody can do that.
Unless you want to double your taxes, and no one wants that.
Right? So, I mean, you know, but the thing is, a lot of this stuff is not, the vast majority of people in Holyrood follow the rules. They conserve water, they do all the stuff that they're supposed to do, and that's, so it's a few that's you know, need to listen to Councillor Windsor's presentation, and hopefully they will get on their social media soapbox and reaffirm that yes, this council is taking this stuff serious. I have no issues with lifting the ban, but I think we should still consider water conservation because we still have a very hot month, which is August. We've had very little rain. So to go out there and say, yeah, soak your lawn, turn it into a rice paddy, no, we shouldn't be doing that. People still need to understand that we have a lot of warm weather coming in the next month or so, and be conscious of that and conserve water. But I have no problems lifting the ban with those conditions attached.
Conservation order.
Thank you.
Okay. Yep. Anyone else? Councillor Crawley, Councillor Story, Councillor Tilley? No, and, okay, and I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to jump in here as well, but I would agree with, you know, lifting the ban, but keeping a conservation order in place, which we can. And there's different restrictions for conservation order versus the ban. Yep. So, can you do a motion on that, Councillor?
Oh, I don't think we need a motion.
Don't need a
I
motion?
think that, you know, staff can, you know, take the action now to craft a community message through going social media channels. Right?
Okay.
In line with some relaxation of the measures, but maintaining some conservation measures. I think some good points were made there about if people could go nuts now and then get into a problem again in doing so.
Yeah, okay.
But not only that, if you put it on the Voyant, like, I know there's probably hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people watching tonight,
They better read tonight.
but if you put it on the Voyant, everybody sees it, and the CAO and staff, like Councillor Windsor was saying, can craft it in a specific way as per the same thing that we did when we put the ban in place, and it tells you what you can and you can't do.
Okay. And Councillor Crawley, Councillor Story as well, you're okay with that? Does one turn on?
Come in, show you that.
Thank you. I just like to add that if you, like the weather coming, that certainly would be a factor in if, you know, people can, how well they can use the water or how much. So, you know, there should be some criteria of things that you look at over the next month. And then once, you know, if it's not going to be too hot, we've had, you know, for a bit of drizzle and fog. I must say, I love when the rain comes. I really do, because it keeps us safe, really, and it keeps our water up. It keeps the flowers going,
Everything's
and
green.
yeah, and it's warm rain. So, yeah, if you can look forward to that month and see what the forecasts are and how much rain is going to fall, and if everything looks good, yes. But again, the residents have to conserve or just keep an eye out of things so they don't have to go through water bans. And I look forward to that well that's going to double our capacity. So, but again,
tank, yeah.
it only takes a few people to misuse, and we'll be back in it again. So, and plus, Holyrood is really expanding with new homes and activities. So, anyway, thank you.
All right, so we're good. Thank you again for everyone's comments. In light of Deputy Mayor Woodford not being here, I'm going to pass the gavel to Councillor Windsor so I can provide the updates for economic development. Okay, so economic development, we met as a committee all in attendance on July 22nd. We discussed some commercial bills, and a number of commercial building applications were discussed for the first half of 2026. So for the first half of 2026, 7 business applications were brought before council. There are 4 other applications in the concept phase with no applications submitted yet. So that's 4 that we kind of know of in the peripheral, but haven't been submitted with applications. So for up until now, we have commercial approvals. 3 have been approved. Home-based businesses, we have 3 that have been approved. And 3 businesses have registered with Cato who have not yet registered with the town. So letters requesting compliance have been sent out. So that was for 3 of them. So we're looking forward to making them part of our town as well and welcoming them. Blue Ocean Industrial Park, we have some renewed interest in there. So we're looking forward to having completed applications submitted. So right now there's just been a lot of interest and buzz kind of coming through, but nothing concrete. And the same with Valero, there's been continued interest in that property down on the waterfront, but we do have to remain vigilant that it is not town owned. We do not own that property, so we cannot, subject to town principles and approval and keeping with the development regulations, yes, but we can't choose who goes and buys that property. Okay? We can only monitor what's put there if it does get. So we're hoping that it will be, bought and sold to, or bought and purchased by a reliable and reputable company. And finally, we continue to look for funding through ACOA and other provincial methods. So that's it on economic development. Okay, Councillor Windsor, unless you want to hold it. Well, you can, but you're going to have to talk about the rest of them. You can keep going.
I'm sick of talking tonight.
Thank you. All right, gavel back. I am chairing the meeting once again. Public safety, Councillor Tilley, for your update.
I think I'm going to be reiterating a lot of what other members have said here tonight, but it all has to be said. So to start off with the public safety, I just want to say that we never met last month because, as Councillor Crawley mentioned, we're in a bi-monthly approach now for the summer months. However, that does not mean that our public safety is put on the back burner.
That's right.
Recently, I want to talk about an inquiry we had about fire hydrants that are not always charged on Salmon Line. So these are hydrants that are set up, that are there, their lines are hooked up to them, but they're not always have high flow of water in them. These lines have come up on our, I'll say our social medias that are not ours. This discussion has come up on them, as well as the capability of our fire station, of our responding fire crew that we have. I just wanted to clarify some rumors that are floating around the community. The hydrants are installed, they're tested, and they are supported by an operational water supply system. These water supply systems are as easy as turning on a switch in the case of an emergency. As we have heard from 2 councillors already tonight, we have 2 fire trucks. Each have a capability of 100 gallons of water in each to be dispatched. 1,000, sorry,
yeah.
1,000. I hear Marjorie going, 1,000. So they have 1,000 gallons of water in each that is ready to be used. We also have mutual aid agreements with our neighbouring community fire departments. All of these are in an operational procedure guide. They've been tried, they've been tested. I think we've all were here last year for our fire. I think we know how well they are tried and tested. Our fire department is a very trained professional fire department. It has an operational plan in place. It has an operational plan for anything that may happen in the community. We have an emergency preparedness plan that has everything that may happen in the community. In the event something happens in the community, our public works are on call 24/7 for emergencies. It's not new for our public works to be called out at 3 o'clock in the morning because of a water issue. They would be called out by the fire department. The fire department will, if there was a structure fire or a fire on Salmon Line. Sorry, I'm getting off topic a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm getting off train a little bit here. So our public works would immediately be dispatched to charge these hydrants, which means that the valve will be turned on, the water will be released to Salmon Line well straight into the line. Public works staff are always available to address anything incident that comes into town. Therefore, there is no problem or issues with the water supply that comes to these hydrants on Salmon Line. The question has also come upon about people with homes and insurance. For those that aren't aware, I spent 13 years in the insurance world selling home insurance. I was also the highest trained home inspector in the Avalon. So a lot of residents in Holyrood have seen me in their house, either looking at their wood stove or their wall tank or their fire hydrants or whatever. The question has come up about home insurance and getting the top discounts because of having these fire hydrants in front of your house. The hydrants are required on your insurance policy. It asks how far you are from an active fire hydrant. These fire hydrants are active fire hydrants. If they run into any concerns from their insurance company, if they run into any questions, documentation can be provided that will highlight and will show that they are in a responding clarified way. So again, any documentation needed is just to reach out to our info, reach out to our fire department. They would be able to help you with that. But I just want to repeat myself by saying these fire hydrants are active fire hydrants that are there to be responded to. I can't stress the importance of obtaining facts from a reliable source. I think all of us here tonight are going to touch on that one way or another. We have a lot of false and misleading information that's getting out there. If you have a question, I can't stress the importance of calling the town office or the fire department. If you have a question about your dog, you're calling a vet. You are not going as an anonymous person on a social media platform and putting it out there. So again, if you're talking about your safety of your home, your family, your community, you are going to get it from a reliable source. We as a town have nothing but the respect for the safety as being the top priority of our residents here in this community. I think everybody know me. I think they know that public safety is what I live and breathe. We want to make sure this happens. I think we can also all reflect back to last summer with the wildfires knocking at our doors. We had responding aids from several fire departments. We had Green Acres down there that was in the depths of line for the fire with no fire hydrants. Our fire department was still able to keep that at bay, and we never even lost a shed. So again, that is highly shows the professionalism and the water resources that we have here in our community. This fire took place. There was no fire hydrants. The teams worked together. It was a success. Salmon Line has access to fire hydrants. As required, in the event of an emergency, they will be fired up. They will be there long before the 2,000 gallons of water is ran out of by our fire department. I kindly ask that this kind of fear mongering please stop. It might be fine for someone to get on Facebook to rant on about something, but if you have somebody who's not really aware of what's going on, the truth of it, it can cause a lot of fear and a lot of, a lot of uneasiness for especially seniors and vulnerable people. So we want to make sure that that's there and it's done correctly. Go to our town website, send the information for info at Holyrood, info at Holyrood. Come in, sit down and have a conversation. If you have a problem, if you have a question with something with the fire department, call up our fire department. They'll be able to ask. We are very fortunate to have a staffed fire department, which a lot of municipalities of 2,500 do not have a staffed fire department Monday through Friday, and as well as have a regiment of people who are on call on the weekends to be able to respond in a timely manner. So again, I just want to say that please, please, please stop with the fear-mongering. Stop with making up things that are not true. If you have a problem with something, address it properly through the Town of Holyrood, not through social medias. And again, I can't stress the importance of share honest information, not fear-mongering information. So again, I'm sorry I rambled on a little bit about it, but it's just very hard not to. Public safety is huge, and when I see these threads going around talking about Holyrood being slack, it kind of raises my blood pressure.
It is very disheartening.
Yep.
People who actually go through the proper means, ask the information, get the proper information, but change it or twist it or turn it or not provide everything that we said, not give out all the information is very frustrating. It really is. So I feel your frustration, Councillor
Yes.
Tilley, and I'm feeling it as well. And I know everyone is, because it is very disheartening, all the false information that's flying around out there, and then the blame coming back on
Yes.
council and staff.
And again, it's just gone off topic a little bit when it comes to some of it, but Councillor Crawley, is anything that you wanted to add that I have left out? No? There's Ned. That's my little vent.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Tilley. Councillor Crawley. And next up, we're up for communications. Councillor Story.
Thank you. I don't have anything to say, but
We're off here.
no, I have no update, but I do have a motion. So be it resolved, the Town of Holyrood accept the committee's updates and recommendations as presented in the committee's reports provided by various departments and made available to all councillors for consideration. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Story, seconded by Councillor King.
Great. And I just...
Oh, wait, no. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
We were, yep.
go
Any
ahead.
discussion? No? All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
I just want to say how grateful I am for the fire department and for our safety committee. When you talk about 2,500 people and the resources that we have, we are so lucky. So I'm just grateful. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, I'm going to pass the gavel over once again. Okay, CSA, money, paid bills. Yep, just like that. Okay, CSA met on July 22nd as well. It was a very busy evening. All were in attendance, and we reviewed our taxes and payables and things like that. So just to give you some more numbers, because I know everyone's on the number kick tonight, so more numbers for you. We have $311,485 collected for 2026 taxes just this month. So this month alone, 311,000 came in. We also have, very happy to announce, $11,663 collected for the prior taxes. So that's everything up till 2025. So our Director of Finance, with her due diligence, keeps at it, not letting it go, and we're bringing it in slowly but surely. So to date, we have 81.76% of our property tax paid, 74.99% of our water and sewer paid, 81.24 of our business tax paid, and 74.09% of our fire services paid. And that actually, we said, was we're very pleased with those numbers, as the date is the end of August for the interest-free payments. So by the time we're hitting August, we'll generally have most of it collected with a few outstanding. Hopefully that's our that's our normal run. We reviewed the check register, and there's one outlier there for $52,000. So you'll see kind of a big payment coming out, but that was for engine 2 repair for our fire department. So we had some big repairs, and of course it's not a regular maintenance that can do that. So it gets a little bit more costly. The parts are a little bit more costly, and so is labor. We have a bank rec that's coming in for June and July. We will review those at our August meeting. We ran in because of Squid Fest, of course, coming up, and all the ins and outs of the invoices and things happening in summer. The bank rec was just not done in time for meeting. It's completed now, but we'll have it ready for August meeting. And then finally, we reviewed all the department budgets, which we do when we meet every time anyway, but very specifically review them on the 4 quarters of the year. And happy to say, halfway through the year, all of our departments are within 50% of used up budget, so 50% left. There is one outlier, and that's in our environmental. That's because we have our garbage taken care of in full. So that will pan out. So rather than paying it in quarterly installments, it's completely paid. And that was the one outlier, so I think that got 70% already used. Yeah. So we really want to thank staff and the directors, the due diligence of the directors, keeping an eye on it, and then the staff and them for keeping an eye on the budgets and maintaining our goals and our objectives when we come to our committees and our departments. We're looking at the contract process for securing new contract for management and firefighters, and that will begin in early October. And of course, our budget process usually starts in September, but there will be some outliers because of that contract negotiation and things like that. So we're going to look at the best possible process for reviewing our budget. Might look a little tiny bit different this year, looking at certain departments and leaving out some until later on. Okay. But that's all I have for an update. So we do have a couple of motions. Be it resolved, those accounts tabled in the amount of $260,257.04. Check numbers D5671 to D5767 and 48338 to 48406 be approved for payment from the general account. So moved.
Thank you, Mayor Crowley. Motion is made. Any seconders? Councillor King, further discussion?
General, and we explained the outliers.
All those in
here.
favor? Contrary minded? None? Motion carries.
Thank you. And our bank book balance is $79,077.02. All right. Thank you. You might be kept on, sir.
Your humble servant.
Oh, don't start this. All right, it's time to go around. I know this meeting was a little bit longer than usual, but there were definite important points that need to be addressed. So, new business, Councillor Crawley? Nothing to add? No? Councillor King?
No, I just got a couple of points. What's that? Merry Christmas. I just want to reinforce what Councillor Tilley said and what Councillor Windsor said, because Councillor Windsor said our system is reliable. Councillor Tilley's comments about last year proves that our system is reliable, because I lived down there. I could walk to the end of my driveway and look down and see the flames in the tops of the trees and everything else, and it was all coming in that direction, right? So, and next Wednesday, August the 5th, will be the day that we were evacuated. And the reason I know that, because August the 5th is also my mother's birthday. So instead of going to Carbonair, we went to Conception Harbor, right? Just like the Clampetts, all packed up and ready to go.
The horses and the rocket chair.
Everything,
Yeah.
right? And so, so her comments and Councillor Windsor comments reinforced each other. We do have a reliable system because last year proved it. And like Councillor Windsor, Councillor Tilley said, not even as much as a shed was destroyed. Okay. So anyway, I just got 2 points, and they're going to be really, really quick.
Okay, go.
The first one, I just want to send out a congratulations and a big shout out to the crew of HMCS St. John's. They did the Round the Rock, and they raised $195,000.
Excellent.
And right now in Newfoundland and Labrador, there are 35 children with critical illnesses that will end up probably getting a wish because of that money. So that is absolutely fantastic.
Excellent.
And the last one, and I know the mayor used to like telling a little joke, so
Oh,
maybe
no.
after all the stuff that we're going on tonight, I'm going to tell one. I've always been an admirer of Ronald Reagan. And Ronald Reagan told this joke one time, and I think it's, anyway, you can judge for yourself. Anyway, this guy was driving down the road in the States, and as he was driving along, this three-legged chicken ran past his car and up the road. And then the chicken turned off and went up the driveway. So, of course, the driver, he went up to see where the chicken went. Anyway, when he got up to the end of the driveway, this farmer was standing there, and he said to the farmer, he said, "Did you just see a three-legged chicken?" And he said, "Yes." He said, "I breed three-legged chickens." And he said, "Why do you breed three-legged chickens?" Well, he says like this: "I like a drumstick, Ma likes a drumstick, and the kid likes a drumstick." Somebody looked at him, he said, "How did they taste?" He said, "I don't know, never ever caught one yet."
Because they're fast.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor King. Councillor Story, do you have any? No, nothing. Councillor Tilley?
I do just want to have another 2-minute comment. Won't be long. I'll take Councillor Story's time. I just want to say tonight we talked a little bit about a lot of negativity that was going on out there. But I also want to talk just to highlight a lot of the positives that we have. I sent a message to our CAO there last month I went for a walk in the community. I left the marina over in the marina, and I walked down on back. There was no smell. I walked down on the festival ground and seen the brand new festival stage that we have. They were there planting the flowers. They were there doing the lawn. It was beautiful. I walked up the boardwalk. Their staff were up there then watering the new sods with pond water, I will add. And they were all having a smile and a nod to everyone who passed by. I went on down as far as Marine Institute again. Everybody was pleasant and happy. I said, my compliment to the CAO was that when your staff is happy, it means that they have happy management, which means they're happy in their job. Everybody who has ever worked a day in their life know you're more productive if you're happy.
Absolutely.
So as we talk a lot about the negativities that are going on in our community with social medias, we also need to take a walk and see the improvements and look at how it's changed and look how well the tourists flock here because how beautiful it is. So I just wanted to end it on a more happier note.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you, Councillor Tilley. It's a good reminder. Okay, yeah, Councillor Windsor?
That, when I think about what you just said and what Councillor Story said about being grateful, we are very grateful for all the positive things that are happening in the community, and some people choose negativity and, it's better to choose positivity and being grateful. I mean, how privileged and entitled are we to be very angry about not being able to wash our side by side or film our swimming pool when, you think about the wildfires that, Councillor King looked across his front door and seen the flames rippling there, and so, I mean, you kind of need to reset your thinking a little bit and what is truly important. I'll say that. And then, the misinformation, I want to come back to that. There's so much, negativity and fear-mongering and incorrect information out there. I mean, I said it in my update, the administrators of these sites, they give a platform to those negativity, those negative individuals who just want to have conflict. So I mean, there's some responsibility there. And let's close with a guessing game. I want you to guess how many emails myself or other members of council or the Infrastructure and Public Works committees have received in the last 5 years about water or the wells or the tanks and all the projects that we have on the go.
Okay, my guess is less than one hand.
Yeah, it's zero. It's zero. So when you go online and you see this nonsense, right, they're basically in an echo chamber of negativity arguing with each other. That's all that's happening.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that.
Absolutely, and keep that gratefulness because of all the wildfires going across Canada and beyond. So our thoughts are with everyone else having to deal with what we felt very closely last year. And let's go beach party, Squid Fest, goes country. I'm so excited. Everybody get your tickets. I'm so excited. All right. Okay, so the date of our next meeting is August 25th. Oh, it's just before the concert. I can say it again. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please? A motion to adjourn. Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Dilly, and all those in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.